And when I get to my auntie's house, after 2 weeks, everyone there gets COVID.
What?
Right. And then everyone on my family gets COVID again. And it was, I remember being in this room, it felt like asylum for weeks. I remember I was in the bedroom that I was staying in at the time. And like, I remember like being in that room, suicidal for such a long time. And I'm there like thinking, if this is my life and this is the way that's so it's going to be, then like I don't want to live this life. And I remember like sitting on the bathroom floor because I had slit my wrist, right? And I was just like bleeding. And I was just like, I just wanted to just like not feel this pain.
We are back with another. Hey, I don't know what this episode is gonna be, but if you have tissues, if you have anything, prepare, but also take care of your ribs because it's gonna be a mixture of life. I'm looking forward to our guests. Before that, I need to tell you that we are shooting at Tulivu Podcast Studios. This is a place where you can come and create. If you have any ideas, this is a spot. Why don't you bring yourself with your brilliant ideas? And there's space for everyone in the whole wild wide web. My name is Kerry Kagiri or Mr. Kamau. There's no other. So just know that if you're looking for me, call my husband. Check on my husband. You need to talk to me. Call my husband first. I need to stop. Okay. It's because anyway, as I organize my hair, it needs to be perfect because this episode is gonna be lit. Let me introduce our guest today, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, no other than Benji.
Hey.
What do people know you as?
People know me as Telani.
Telani, yeah.
But people also know me as Benji.
Okay.
Like if you know me as Benji. If you don't know me as Telani.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I think it's like the people who like know me from like music and all these different things, they know me as Telani.
Right.
But like my family, friends,
Benji.
it's Benji.
But I've never Telani.
Yeah, I don't think you've ever.
I have
done
never
that.
Telani.
I don't even think it rolls off the tongue.
Because I was shrub properly.
Yeah, just leave it
People
alone.
are looking at you like, who's this guy? Where is he from? Benji, where were you born?
I was born here,
In the city?
Nairobi, Kenya. I was born in Gertrude, the one next to
Muthaiga.
Yeah, that one.
They actually have like a labor ward. It's like a children's hospital.
They do have a labor ward.
Oh, very nice.
From what I know.
Hey, you're so bougie.
I believe.
I've not met anyone who was born in Gertrude. Like,
Really?
No, I haven't. You're my first.
If I'm correct, then it's Gertrude's.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure it's
You've
Gertrude.
been to Gertrude for one reason or another.
Like I remember as a kid, I was just in, like the nurses knew me. I was a horrible child.
Okay.
I was terror.
Okay.
Like I would show up every other like weekend with something. So yeah, it was
That's a
rough
journey.
childhood.
That's a journey. There God has kept you up to now. So interesting story is that we're both July babies. I'm July 1st. He's July 2nd. Woo!
True.
So that's our... Oh yeah, okay, fine. And
The
there's a
month
guy
isn't
for
over
July
yet.
somewhere Okondani.
Yeah, somewhere there.
Somewhere there. It's like, don't leave me out of this July baby equation. We had a bash for him. So we need our bash.
As we need ours.
And
it's
so
true.
you come into the world. Do you have older siblings?
No, it's just me. I was the oldest. My mom had 2 or 3 miscarriages before me. So Telani, so basically when she made up the name Telani, so she actually made up the name from her friend group, which was very funny. But if you look in other cultures, like in Hawaii, the name Telani means promised child, which is so insane. And then like now the Luo derivative of Telani is Tulani, which means leader. So there was like a lot of like meaning behind the name. So
That's too deep, man.
yeah, right. I was like, what the heck?
So she made it up, and then it actually has a meaning
exactly
somewhere in the world.
It has a meaning somewhere in the world, which
Promised
is like
child.
exactly.
And that's who you are.
Yeah.
And so you start school. Are you a good kid?
I think I was a good kid. A lot happened, especially like my early school life was like hectic. I moved a lot.
Yeah, tell us about that.
I moved a lot. So as a kid, I think I was like off rip a very smart kid. I don't think I was like anything to write home about, but like I would do fairly okay. Like, you know, you get there, you can do the minimum to like survive. So that was me. School early on was really simple, but I think there was a lot of things happening behind the scenes that really made me just check out of school very, very early. I think I was one of those kids that I was like, no, I'll go to school, and then I get out of school, I go to high school, and then high school, then I go to university, then I get a job, and it's like, hey, guys. See,
There's
like,
more to life.
yeah, I'm like, surely there has to be more to life than this. But like, there's a lot of things happening already, like behind the scenes. So I went to. I actually think I skipped kindergarten.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I was the youngest in my class.
Okay.
I was like 4 when I was in class 1.
Eh?
I was so young. It was it was so crazy. Like even as she's a joke. Like I was so young.
No, it's true, by the way, because if you know his age right now and where he's at, you'll do the math.
Yeah. So I was really young. Like when I was first joining school, there was a lot of things going on, and I remember I skipped kindergarten. I was in Riara because we used to live Izo sides of Feather, those ones. So I was in Riara for a bit. And like at this point, there was a lot of things going on in family. I think it's so weird when you're a kid and then you begin to start to see these like existential problems begin in your life. It's like you begin to like grow up. Like you're 5 years old, but you're like, oh, so not all families have peace.
Right.
Like not all families like just have like, you know, like what you see on TV. It's not the same as what you see.
Ground.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like it's just completely different. So I could tell like very early on that our family was very different and we had a very unique situation because it's not like things were bad financially. It's not like we were just there. You know, like to
you could afford what you need. You
exactly.
can eat, drink.
Yeah, we could have. Yeah, we lived life and it was fine.
Yeah.
It was fine. But like over time, I could tell that things were just like slowly. We would downsize. Like I remember, like our first was so big. Maybe it's just because I was small. But like, you know,
I know maybe to your size.
Yeah, maybe to my size, I was like, oh my god, this is massive.
Yeah.
Like, you know, high ceilings. But then like over time, I could tell that like things were getting small. I remember like we went to like having a house with like front yard, backyard, compound. We have pets, and then now we moved to a different house like that. Same thing. And then all of a sudden, when like smaller-ish apartment, and then all that stuff. So things like clearly changed with my family dynamic because a lot of things were happening. Very early on, my dad got sick.
Yeah.
And his situation is very unique because he has a neurodegenerative disease called Huntington's disease.
Mm-hmm.
Very unique. Like I think it's like 0.0001.
Yeah, Huntington's is rare.
Yeah, it's extremely rare.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember there's a point in my life where he didn't have it.
Mm-hmm.
Like
so you have those memories.
I have the memories
of him being healthy.
Exactly. I have the memories of him being healthy and before things changed.
Mm-hmm.
But like the main reason that we moved wasn't necessarily because of him being sick, but it was like honestly just problems between my mom and my dad.
Yeah.
So like I think there was a time that they were in love. But like I think over time it just turns into obligation. You know, you start to have kids, things begin happening, and then like, you know, all these other big things happen. People get sick.
So did you see them like kiss, hold hands? Did you see love? And you know, like that's what
I
we call
can
love.
count. I can count the times. I feel like it was like New Year's, like Valentine's.
But that's sweet. The people who have never,
Like
and please
never.
comment below, who have never seen their parents even exchange a gaze. That's nearly.
I think it was like those times for like New Year's, top of the year, like kiss, blah blah blah, Valentine's, their anniversary. So it was like, it was difficult to see how like the relationship began to like get.
Who leaves?
So I wouldn't necessarily say either of them left.
Yeah.
Things just got a lot. Like I remember actually this one time. So it was me and my brother. So I have a younger brother.
Yeah.
It's called Zach. He's 18, which is so insane. I'm like, what the heck? And he's taller than me.
He was baby.
He was just a child. I can't call him my small brother anymore. That's
He's
just
taller
the truth.
than
He's
you
taller
now.
than me, which is like so he's like 6'3".
Yeah.
I'm like, where the heck are you
6'3"? Where
No,
are you
like
going?
like calm down, relax. It's exactly like what's going on. So I remember this time it was me and my brother. We were going to sleep. I remember like I was probably like 5, maybe 4 years old, and like when I was a kid, I used to have like really bad headaches. Like I would have like horrible migraines. Like it's the one for, you know, the one that you're crying the whole time because like you don't know what's going on. So I'd have these like horrible migraines like all throughout the day. And then I remember I was coming back home, and I remember there was this time my uncle, my mom's cousin, was staying with us at the time. Right, so he stayed with us.
African families.
Yeah, African families. It's just like a mix of people, just like a hodgepodge of people. So he's staying with us, and I remember like he came to my like bedside, and he was praying for me before I like went to bed so that my headache can go away. And I remember like he was praying for me, and then I don't know what was going on with my mom and dad at the time, but like things just like erupted. Like I remember things. I think this was like the first time that I had ever seen any like
Conflict.
conflict, and it wasn't even like physical. It was just like shouting and arguing. And at this point, I'm pretty sure it was just because like the way I was at that time, but like it felt so amplified to me. I think I'm really tired. My head is pounding. Things were just like, it felt like a fever dream. It was like one of those moments where it's like things happening in like slow motion. So I remember things were so bad at that time, and obviously it was probably because of things building up over time. And from that point, I literally remember that time, like my mom, she picked me and my brother and she left. And we went to stay at my aunt's house. And we stayed there for, I'm going to say 2 years. Yeah, it was like that.
You left everything?
We just left everything. Like I remember she called my aunt and she said, we're coming. And then she just packed things and we were gone. And now we moved from that side of Feather, blah, blah, blah. We come to the side of Junction. So ideally, I moved to the same school because they have a Riara. We have Riara Springs that side. So I moved back to this other Riara here at Junction. So we move and things are like, let me tell you, it was so funny because it's like we went from one drama to the next.
Yeah.
So we show up to my aunt and uncle's house, and them, they already have their own crisis, their own dynamic going on. And it was not easy. It was not easy. And I think as a kid, I was already very reserved, very, like, I was a tiny kid. So I got bullied all the time. Like, I think I was like I could remember being the smallest person in my class for the longest. Because number one, I was the youngest. And then I don't know, I was just like a toto for like the longest time. Yeah. So for that transition was already so like hectic for me. Because I remember all of us, like I remember this was like a Tuesday evening. So it's not even like a weekend. This is like a Tuesday evening. The next day, we're in a completely different house. Family uniform? I'm like, no, you know it's real. Like, I have the same uniform. Right. So I'm just like, I remember like waking up the next day and I'm like, hey guys, so like now school, what's going on? And literally like less than a few weeks later, this timeline could be off, but like literally like less than a few weeks later, we moved schools. So I moved schools, completely different place. And I think it's like, you know, you move into a new place midterm, things are just different. You don't know anyone. I was just like, I already felt like black sheep. Like I already like didn't feel like I belonged anywhere. But like to be in a place where everything just like quickly changed and I'm in a completely new environment was so disorienting for me.
It's hard.
Exactly. So literally I could count the amount of times that like we just kind of hopped around. So now all that drama happened with my parents. At this point, I remember I'd go around school and like I don't know where, I'm so sure I saw it on TV. Mm-hmm. This is like my child brain. I'm probably like 5-6 years old right now. And like I would go around telling people, so like people would ask me like about myself, like kids my age, or like, oh, like what's your favorite color? And like the main statement I would say, oh, my parents are divorced.
Oh.
And that's like all I'd say.
Oh.
Right? So I remember this one time my mom was like, oh, your teacher was telling me, or like someone was telling me that you're saying that that me and
Dad are divorced.
And I was like, but like that's what I see.
Yeah. When people separate, they're divorced.
Yeah, see, like if you're not living in the same together but you're married, see, that means that you're divorced.
Yeah.
So that's what's like playing out in my mind, right? So that's how I navigated most of my childhood. And it was really difficult because there's a very hard thing that I think a child necessarily like goes through if you put them in a completely different setting where things aren't necessarily okay, but things are still okay.
Right.
So it's like I'm a kid, my things with my parents are bad right now, but then we move in with my aunt and uncle and they have a happy marriage. So I was jealous of my cousins. I was like, what the heck? Why do you have parents that love each other? That's like boo. Like that's not fair. So I'd be like watching the way that they would have their dynamic, and I realized at this point that things were so different with our family. And I think it's because I hadn't clocked that my dad was sick, or he was beginning to get sick.
Yes.
Right? So things were just different. And we get to this point where we're living now with my aunt and my uncle for a long time. So at this point, I begin to like now adapt, different school. So it's me. I at the time 3 older cousins, and then it was my brother and then my younger cousin. So at this point, it's a full house. Like this one was stacking beds. Like there's a whole meal plan routine. People know what to do. It was full house. I think, and it wasn't even like a big house. It was, I think, like a 3-bed, and there were like, I'm going to say 10, 11, 12 of us. Like it was a lot. So we get to this place, and I honestly, in my mind, wished we moved back with my dad.
Okay.
Because the drama here was worse.
Yeah.
It's like if this was drama at our crib, this is like drama pro max. Like I was like, yo, this is like, because now at this point, there's a whole new introduction to drugs, influence, things happening with gangs, blah, blah. I was like, y'all deal with this in like Lavington. Where do you have gangs in Lavington? Like, guys, go home. Like, you live in gated communities. What's going on? So, a certain member of now our family was majorly drug influenced, and was dealing with it in school. There was so much drama, so much. And the crazy thing is that I'm here probably like 6 or 7 years old, and me and my brother share a room with this person. So like
Everything they're doing
either behind closed doors or when there's drama that's concerning them was immediately influencing us, like right off the bat. And like it was so much. Like, because I remember there would be times where they would show back at the house in the middle of the night. They're high or drunk, or I don't know what's going on. They're fighting with their parents.
And your sleep is interrupted.
You get what I'm saying? And I'm waking up the next day to go to school. So I would just be like, what's going on? And I think at this point, the older brother instinct in my head had already like checked in.
To protect your baby brother.
To protect my baby brother, right? So us were like, we used to sleep on a double decker, right? So he would sleep on top of us, and it would be me and my brother on the double deck, on the bottom deck. And it was just like, I remember when things would happen, like my first instinct would just be like to close my brother's ears. Like I'd just like hold his ears like this, because he would sleep like towards the side of the wall. So like in my head, I'm already like have this obligation to take care of my younger brother. And I'm just there like so much was going on. There was so many dramatic, I don't even know if I'd be able to get into all of them, but
shouting matches,
like, oh my god,
cussing,
like fighting. It's like, and the chasing someone in the house to fight them. It was like that. There was police cases, all these different things involved, and it was so much. And like that was like the biggest, I think, number one, my introduction to drugs and just like debauchery. So like sexual stuff.
Only Christians use the word debauchery.
Yeah,
it's such a Jesus terminology.
Christianese word.
Yeah, but I love it. Debauchery. That's a word.
Honestly, so it's truly a word.
That's the word.
So I was like now introduced to like now drugs, like just sexual stuff, pornography, like, and in my brain, these things are bad, right? But it's like, oh, I think my older cousin is cool and they do this.
Right.
So it's like, what the heck? So I remember like being like 8 years old, 9 years old, like smoking like the dead blunts in the room. Just like, indulging. Because I was like, oh, so this is what makes him cool. Right? So that's like, I want to be, at this point, I'm not cool. Like I was such a nerd. I was such a, like me. Every single room I'd go into, I'd never fit in. Like I never really had friends. I never had like a group that like, this is like the people that I belong to. Right? So like very early on, I was very sad, lonely. I was just by myself. So my introduction to drugs was so, I'm thinking about it, there's a lot of people who actually don't even know this, even in my family. Like my introduction to drugs was so early, and like it was really scary because like there's no 8 years old who's learning how to, but like that was where I was at.
Children copy. Like if you want a child to start a habit, you just do it
Exactly.
enough times
For
and they
them
will be able to absorb.
Exactly. So that I was just kind of like, the sponge for all those things, right? And I think it was just like environmental trauma, right? Like this is the things that I would see around me. So they just kind of like I just began to pick things up without even thinking.
How does that show up in school? Because now you're becoming a different person.
Oh, badly. Like I remember in school, this is when like I began to grow up and like get like a little pep in my step. Get just a bit of confidence.
Come on, you're like, yeah.
Like I get like that confidence of I can deal with this type of stuff. I'm cool, blah, blah, blah. So I really had to I was forcing myself into becoming a more confident human being because I was like, this is like the only way I could be able to like get friends.
And survive.
Like this is like, bro, things at home are not good. Things like at school are not fine. So I was like, these other kids don't do what I do. I had to have like a certain level of confidence, right? So I would be in school and like, when you're like in class 2, class 3, I don't know, this person has a crush on you, blah, blah, blah. They want to have a wedding in the playground. Something, I was there. Let me tell you, nobody was going to stop me. I remember like the first time I don't know, this person, I was told that this specific person had a crush on me. I mean, I was like, lean into it. So I completely leaned into this whole beginning to like people way of living, right? And honestly, because of my introduction to like pornography and like really sexual stuff early on, I could tell, like now I can say that was my brain became very hypersexual. So that the way that I was thinking wasn't even just like, I like this person because I have a crush on them.
No.
But it was like, I need to get something out of them. Like I need to get that like hit of dopamine from this person, right? So it's like I need to like kiss them or blah blah blah. So
not just hold hands.
Yeah, like this one, like it's gotta hit.
Be their friend.
Exactly.
That's so
like
crazy.
I was like, this like needs to hit like next level, right? So it was like very difficult. So now at this point, things are happening like with now my aunt, uncle side of the family, and things are really, really weird. And at that point, my mom and dad started talking again.
Huh?
So they start talking again, and they start to co-parent, ideally. So every weekend, my dad would pick us up from school and take us back to, we had a house in this place called Avenue Park at the sides of whatever. Beautiful house, actually. So we would be there every weekend. So at this point, my things with my dad are like beginning to get a bit worse, but like now he has someone like taking care of the house, all that different stuff. So I remember there was this one weekend that he took us home, and because he'd take us home and then we'd just be at the house because he would work on Saturdays sometimes. So I remember there's this lady who used to clean the house. She wasn't even that much older. I think, those like when you can have someone who's like 18, 19 who can, like they've dropped out of school, they just come to clean the house. And like this was like the moment for me that like my hypersexuality like went through the roof, right? So there was definitely something wrong with this lady.
Yeah.
I could tell. Like I could tell me. I was like, yo, there's something up with this lady. I don't know. But the way, like, I'm 8 years old, I can shower myself. I can do things by myself.
Yeah.
So I remember there's a time, and also during the summer breaks, midterms, we would stay with my dad. So I remember we stay at the house, and like this lady showed up one day because she would do breakfast and then just like clean, blah blah blah, and she took advantage of me. I remember being like 7 years old, so confused, like what the heck is going on? Like in the shower, took advantage of me.
So she's washing you.
Yeah.
And touching you inappropriately.
Yeah.
Okay.
And fully took advantage of me.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is I could tell, like from there, this is not it.
Yeah.
Like, this can't be.
So you had that experience that you've seen online.
Yeah. And like, it was not normal. And I was like, and in my head, I was like, if this is a thing for making other people feel a certain way that they don't want to, then I don't want any part of this.
Right.
And I remember in my head thinking that, like, sex is just for, I think, like, it's just for the other person to feel good. Like, it's not for me.
Did you feel scared, like dad is coming? Did you feel shame?
Oh,
Did
badly.
you feel okay?
I never spoke about it.
Wow.
And she was still there for months. So I just had to deal with it. Like, I remember I would, like, play outside and be scared to come back home.
So
like,
no conversation.
No
about
conversation.
It. And she never tried it again.
No. So it happened, and then she would come into the house. And you know how kids, that you go, you play outside, you come back, you eat, you drink water, you go back outside? That was me. Like, I was outside the whole time. So I would wait for somebody to come back. So at this point, so basically what had happened, we have, I have an auntie who has been there my entire life. But at this point of my parents' relationship, they weren't there.
Yes.
So this is a completely different person. So at this point, my view and my perception of women is completely scarred. Because at this point, I'm just there like, oh, women are out to
take what they want.
Exactly. So I'm living in this place where I'm just like really confused. I don't know what is going on. And then we have this back and forth going on with my family. And then I go back to live with my mom and my aunt. At this point, things with my dad are getting better. Things with my mom and dad like kind of ease out.
Yeah.
And they speak, and we're at a good place.
Yeah.
And literally what happened is, like, my mom, we moved into the exact same building that my aunt and uncle lived in.
Oh.
Like the same building, but we were just like a floor above
Yeah.
them. So it was just like,
So you've started life now.
we've started life now, right? So we're still dealing with all the, shenanigans and all the drama from everything happening. At this point, people had been kicked out of the house. Drama, police cases are done. So it was more, at least we had our own space to kind of be. But at this point, I could feel that my body was just feeling unsafe. Like, in myself, I did not feel safe to go anywhere. So I'd be in school and be really scared all the time. And I think that was kind of like what was causing the level of like fear that I had in my body, like the anxiety, headaches. That was me all the time. Like, I would go to places thinking that, like, what, someone is going to
take advantage of
like, someone's gonna like get me.
And Benji, do you know something? It's so interesting how many people lose their innocence to the housekeeper, the shamba boy. Like, it's ridiculous. I'm sure there are some people who can relate to what you're talking about, because these people we put around our children, especially young men. I know, literally, like in my squad, I know enough guys who've just been open to be like, yeah, I lost my virginity to the house. I was 16, I came from holiday. She lizarded me in the bedroom, stripped, and and it became a thing.
Yeah.
And so that's like, and the fact that we don't talk about it because of the shame surrounding it, because a parent feels guilty. A parent feels, they feel really bad. So the easiest thing is just to never talk about it.
Yeah.
But I don't think it helps, because then we allow the cycle to repeat. Yeah.
Like, it goes on and more people end up getting hurt.
Right.
So at this point, things with my family are getting a bit better. We moved back. We now begin to stay together.
With dad, mom?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that was like fine. But like over time, it was. Now here's the thing. I didn't understand why at the time. But now like hindsight is always 20/20.
Yes.
Because at this point, my dad was getting more sick.
Right. How does Huntington's present?
So
for those who don't know.
So very early onset, it looks like cognitive function slows down. You begin to slow down. Like, your body, your nervous system shuts down. So the way that you move, your neurons misfire. So you want to move right, you move left. Like your body begins to just shut down and you lose your mind. So the emotional, rational centers of your brain die. So you can't pick up on emotional cues. The way that you think about things in the daily, daily sense of things, you lose that. And then of course it comes, because now your immune system is so weak, you keep getting attacked by other diseases. And then as it progresses, because like if you have Huntington's disease, then like from onset to death, it's a very long struggling period, because it's not just like it gets you then you die.
No.
You suffer with it for 20, 30 years. So my grandma, my dad's mom, had it. And my entire childhood, knowing her, she was sick, horribly sick. So by the time that like she was passing, she actually passed last year on my birthday. Which was, or the day after my birthday. She passed on July 3rd. Yeah, 2025. And it was so tragic, but it felt like she's finally found peace.
Yeah.
Because when someone struggles for 20 plus years, bedridden, they can't move for themselves, they can't bathe themselves, all these different things, it's difficult. Like it's a difficult way to live. Right. So early onset, my dad getting sick was like the biggest thing, and I think that was the main reason that they came back together to start living together.
Does anyone sit you down, like the day they decide to come back together? Is there a family? So now we are going. Daddy is coming. We are starting.
Like, is there like a family meeting?
No.
It just kind of happened. I remember like all of a sudden, we like people just like, you know how the moving truck comes. I'm like, oh my god, that's my couch, that's my bed. And then like all of like I'm like, oh, we're living here now.
Okay.
So it was just like, it just kind of happened.
What?
Yeah, it was really like disorienting.
Would you do things differently? I know God will bless you with a family, but would you like take time to explain to the children, because now you understand that you understood everything that was going on. So it might as well you are involved.
Exactly. Like I feel like I'd want to have that conversation and be like, this is what's happening. This is what we're doing about it.
Yeah, and I think we should advise parents if you're watching, if you're going through a transition. Yeah.
Talk to your kids. Like, because it'll just affect them down the road.
Right.
Yeah. So I could see that my dad was getting more sick. But it's not like it immediately happened. It took a while for him to start getting to the point that he is now.
Yeah, so needing care.
Exactly. So it's not like it was bedridden, blah, blah, blah. He was fine. But then at this point, I could tell that our lives were definitely getting smaller. So he lost his job because he couldn't work anymore. So he stopped working. So we began to just consistently downsize. So at this point, between, I'm going to say like year 2, class 2, to like class 7, I moved schools 4 times. Because of school fees, we can't pay rent. I don't know what's going on. Because like it now became a single like income household. Yeah. So we moved schools so many times. I think we moved 5 times.
Physically.
And, physically to different space, different blah, 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 but we always downsized. Like I could tell, like from my brain, I was like, we came from this really big house and now we're in this like really small house. It was like, hey, we used to have like a 4-bed, 3-bath. Now we're in a 2-bed, 1-bath. Hey, it's like, you could tell that like there's clearly a change here. So things happen. We've moved. Things are just like really, really different. And at this point, I could tell that like my dad is getting sick. And I'd be looking around at other people's dads and I'm like, your dad is not sick. How comes your dad is sick? And how comes your dad isn't sick and mine is sick? And at this point, I grew up in a religious house, but I didn't know God. Like we went to church, but I'd be so confused. I'm like, so see, this is the God that heals people in the Bible. How come it's not
healing now?
And the thing with Huntington's disease, it's very scary because it's hereditary. So what happens is it either goes next generation or it skips a generation. So because of the gene mutation that happens, you can't tell at birth. It's not like you can just like go and do a test for the baby and see if you can only find out at a certain period of time. So at this point, I remember I was doing a lot of research, like over the years, just trying to figure out like what's going on, because I wanted to understand for myself, because it was a very taboo topic, right? And the issue is, it's not just my dad in the family who was going through this. It was all the men on my dad's side of the family. right? So actually my grandma, she married twice,
Yeah.
right? So she had another side of the family, but like now my dad and his brother that came from now his dad,
Yeah.
all of them ended up still have Huntington's disease, and it's really sad, right? And they've all presented themselves in really bad ways, blah blah blah. But like we've honestly watched the men in
Deteriorate.
just completely deteriorate. And I remember I was talking to my cousin a few weeks ago, and we were sitting at Java just crying, just like having this conversation.
so
Because it's like to see our fathers be in a place where they're not okay and they need help and they're sick. But the situation is so unique that you can't even go to a place and be like, this is the situation, because no one really understands. We don't have enough care systems in this country to provide the level of help that is needed to actually mitigate a situation like this. So it was just a lot. So the men in my dad's side of the family were all just getting sick. And then things were happening in their own family. So it just felt like, hey, left, right, center, it's just like family trauma, like drama. Like we'd come together for like the family reunions, and all the cousins are just there like,
Hey. How are you
How are you?
surviving? Yeah, how are you?
like, how are you doing? And it was just difficult, especially seeing like my younger cousins
Yeah.
go through really abusive relationships because the emotional centers of their brains have died.
Yeah.
And them just like growing up like that really breaks my heart to this day. So let me just like circle back. So from that point, I could see that things with my dad were getting worse. And in my head, when I'm seeing all these different, like, you know, when you Google, you have a flu. You Google, and then Google tells you have cancer, you're going to die in the next.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? So in my head, I can see it now. But like in my head, the assumption that I made was that what's the point of living such a safe life if I'm going to just end up getting sick and struggling for the next 30 years and then I die? So I just started living reckless.
So you rationalized all your sin. You're like,
I was like, Kwani.
the smoke, cancer won't get me.
I'm like,
I'm
no,
already a
fine.
candidate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I started
Benji.
I started living such a reckless life. Like, and this was like now early on to like high school stuff. So like when you're in high school, actually no. So I went to a boarding school. Let me tell you.
You did?
I went to a boarding school.
When?
I went to boarding school before COVID.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was just a Form 1 and COVID hit. So after that I was like, eh.
You guys know how old he is now. Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually went to, because I finished my class 8 when I was 11. So I was young. So I started Form 1 when I was like 12. Right? So everything happens. I'm just there like, hey guys, like what's going on? So I'm in Form 1, and like, hey, if you go to all boys for like boarding school, you know how it goes down. Like it's not like a easy place, right? So you have to like, you learn a whole, like it's a completely different world, right? So I think like that's where like my introduction to like sex and pornography began to like really like grow. And at this point, I'm playing sports. I always knew I could sing, but like now is when I like actually start to like dive into that talent, right? So like I'm always going for the funkies. I don't know I'm where with I don't know who. So there was a lot of things going on. So I became popular easily, which was like, I've never had this. This is weird. So I had this like my perception of being popular and being able to like connect with all these different people was coming out of a very bad place, because like all my actions were never pure.
Yeah.
You get me? I was just like, Kwani, like this is my life, so I can just live it the way that I want. So I start just doing a lot. Like the drugs, I was there. The parties, I was there. The alcohol, I was there. Like, and nothing was stopping me. And the crazy thing is that I remember I hid it so well. Like no one could have looked at me and been like, something's going on.
How are the grades doing?
Grades are fine.
Yeah.
I was on top of I tried to stay on top of things so well, like so properly. And so COVID happens and I'm at home. So I'm at home with all my thoughts and all my whatever, I'm just like in a horrible place. And then like I just remember being in such a bad place, just like depression and anxiety. So I start putting myself to work. I'm just like, I try to have like daily routines, blah blah blah. At this point is when I start like properly making content.
Yeah.
So like podcasting, making videos, blah blah blah, music. That's when it's all beginning to flourish, right? But even as I'm doing all these creative things, I'm still in such a horrible place. And I'm not understanding like why am I living like, and my dad is only getting more sick, right? So I remember there was this one time. So everyone in my family got COVID except for me. It was comedy, like it was comedic gold. So it's like it's like imagine I come here, everyone. I'm so convinced I was a carrier, by the way. So I was so convinced. I was like, that's my bad, yo.
Yeah, you're
my
the
bad.
one. So you have all these creative outlets.
Yeah.
And now everyone is sick in the house. That's where we were.
Yeah. So everyone gets COVID, and ever since we had all the drama with my aunt and uncle's family, with all the love that we have, because we're extremely close, we're like fully trauma bonded because of all those experiences. So everyone in my house, we fully trauma bonded. Like at this point, like me and my cousins are so tight. Yeah. It's like we've gone through so much life. Like this one, if it's not ride or die tight like a booty hole, it's over, right? So, everyone gets COVID. So when everyone gets COVID, I move into my aunt's house, right? And I remember, it's just me.
So they are quarantined.
Yeah, so they're all quarantining by themselves, and then I have to move by myself. So I move into my aunt's and uncle's house, and that quarantine period is like, what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? I remember getting there, and as I said, I was most likely the carrier. And when I get to my auntie's house, after 2 weeks, everyone there gets COVID.
What?
Right, and then everyone in my family gets COVID again. So I was literally just like, I remember being in this room, like literally they'd knock on the door and then they'd put for me food. And then, like, I'd eat the food, and then I'd leave it at the door, and then they'd pick the food, and like that was how we were living. And I remember being in this room. It felt like asylum for weeks, just crashing, like physically, mentally being in a horrible place. I remember I was in the bedroom that I was staying in at the time, and like, I remember like being in that room. Suicidal for such a long time, and I'm there like thinking, if this is my life and this is the way that it's always going to be, then like I don't want to live this life. And I remember that was like my first suicide attempt. And I remember like sitting on the bathroom floor because I had slit my wrist, right? And I was just like bleeding. And I was just like, I just wanted to just like not feel this pain because I just don't feel safe anywhere that I'm at. Like I don't know what is going on. I don't know how I can keep living knowing that every single where that I go, there's always me. And it was so hard. I remember like having that, and like I remember I passed out because it was in the middle of the night. So I passed out and I woke up the next morning, and the wounds on my wrist were fine. It's like I didn't cut myself. It's like, you see all these lines? They were just there. It's like I didn't cut myself. And I was wondering what is going on. And at some point I thought I dreamt the situation. But I remember what had happened. And I remember feeling, at this point is where I could hear God, like today's not the day that you're supposed to die. And I was just like I didn't know. Like I didn't know what to do. And what was so crazy is I was serving in church, living like this. I remember I was in kids ministry for a while, maybe like a year and a half. So I was teaching like 9 to 10-year-olds. I don't even know what I was doing. I don't know where they thought I was qualified enough to teach kids. But like I was like teaching kids. So at this point, the COVID, whatever happened. So we would have like the online whatever it is. So now this is like a whole bunch of time after. I'm still kind of dealing with all the lust issues, the pornography stuff, like all the different things, the drugs. So I'm dealing with all these different things. And then I just kind of like, I remember like feeling like I can't keep living like this because I know if I keep living like this, then I'm just going to die and then that's it. But in my head, I was like, this would be better than if I just keep living
And then get sick.
and then I get sick and then I just die. So I was living in this place where I'm just kind of like in this emotional limbo of I don't know what to do. And it's like, God, I've kept praying. I think you're there. I don't know what to do because like I remember this point I wanted to like actually start reading the Bible. So I would read the Bible and be like, okay, so there was this person who had the issue of blood for 40 years, right?
Was it 38 years?
38,
12 years.
12 years, yeah. And then there was the
guy by the
at
side, 38 years.
38 years.
Yes.
So I'd be like, okay, so this person they were sick for this long, and then they reached out to you,
and you healed them.
And you healed them. So at this point, I was like, okay, so let me reach out to you.
Heal me.
So that, and I wasn't even like, so that you can heal me and what I'm going through, so that you can heal my dad.
Oh.
So I remember like, I was thinking, if I keep going to church, if I keep serving, if I keep doing all these different things, then something should change.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what I did. I was like, if that's the only thing that I can do, then that's the only thing I can do. I remember I was like, I'm just going to stop doing the drugs. I'm going to stop, I don't know, smoking the weed and the cigs and all that different stuff and go to church. And I'm going to start serving and I'm actually just going to like commit myself. Let's say we're just doing this for this next year and whatever. And I remember that whole year, every single Sunday, I'd wake up like, okay, today's the day.
Yeah.
Today's the day that things are going to change. So I'd go to church and I'd pray and I'd pray and I'd pray and I'd come back home. And then things were only getting worse. And my parents were only fighting more. And things were only and I'm like, what's going on? Like, I'm not seeing you. I'm not hearing you. I don't know what you want. Do you want me to, like, keep suffering for this thing to happen? Or, like, do I have to, like, just keep hoping that something will happen? Nothing's happening. And at some point, I just gave up. I gave up. And things just kept going downhill. I was just in a really bad place. School kept going on, but I remember being in this pit for, I'm going to say, a year, 2 years. This is probably 2021, 2022.
But you're like a leader in school.
Exactly.
I remember you in your uniform.
I was just
you're like, did you get a scholarship?
I did. So I went to Brickhouse for my A-levels.
Okay.
So I finished my IGs because at this point I had already moved systems after COVID. So after COVID, I moved systems.
Okay.
I did IGs. I did year 9, 10, 11. I finished my IGCSE. And then I did A-levels at Brickhouse. So I did, when I was there, when I was there, I think when I was there is when I truly began to see myself flourish.
Okay.
Right? Because at this point, in my head, I told myself, okay, I don't want to keep living this reckless life because I keep falling short. I don't end up feeling good at the end of the day. So I'm just there like, then let me just try live the best way that I can. Like, even if this whole God thing is real, if it's not, like, I'm just going to try do my thing and just try be the best person for me that I can.
As you're speaking, I'm seeing you having all this conversation with yourself.
Oh, it's
like,
true.
I don't think you have anyone to bounce it off. You're just like,
so now, in the mirror.
So now I'm
so this is what I want to do. This is my plan.
It's
like this is what the 5-year plan. Like, I was like honestly having these conversations with myself, right? So I remember I would journal. There was a point in time where I was like frequently journaling.
Yeah.
And like you could see, like, because I was like, you know how you have that thing where like, 6 days without drugs.
Yeah.
Like, I'd like write it on my wall. Like, yeah. So I'd be like, every single day I'd have like a daily, like what I felt, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like after day 6, you just see first day without drugs. Like, it was just like, it wasn't working.
That's so sad.
It wasn't working. So yeah, I was
I
just
don't
like
know why
stuck
we're
in this.
laughing. It's just because it's so sad. That's
I
why
was
we're laughing.
like 6 days of that. And then it would just like come back. It was
Yeah.
just like stuck in this like reckless cycle. Things were just difficult for a
Yeah.
while. So I'm just gonna like, because this whole period of like IGs, things were just there.
Yeah.
So things are happening with my mom and dad, blah, blah, blah. My dad is only getting more sick and I'm just there like, I don't know. So at this point, we're caregiving consistently.
Yeah.
Right?
What does caregiving for a Huntington's patient look like?
It looks like...
Someone has to be in the house all the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cleaning up, mess. So it's like food will be spilled. Something will go wrong in the bathroom. Have to make sure that like you don't have like difficulty with moving. You have to have a very open space. But it also looks like you have to consistently try to be there and understand. And I honestly think the very difficult thing, because like for me, I can only speak for myself because I know my brother's experience with my dad is completely different
yeah.
and so difficult
Yeah.
on his own sense.
Yeah.
But like for me, I had to get to this place where I had to understand that like the person that my dad is, he's not a bad person. He's just sick. And I think the really hurtful thing is knowing that I think there's a difference between having someone who hurts you and they know they're doing it, and then having to consistently forgive someone who
doesn't know.
They the way that they think can't permit them to think emotionally the way that you are thinking about the situation. So it's like there'd be times where my dad would get violent and I'd get hurt, but I'd have to think and be like he's not thinking straight. He's sick. Like he's not okay. And this, like his whatever only gets more debilitating because now as it keeps going, you go into psychosis, you have psychotic breaks. And that's honestly what I've very much experienced over like the last year or two. And having to go through that period of time where he's like not fine and goes through the really, really like difficult parts is like really hard. I've had to see all those. But then I think one of the biggest things that I learned is, especially seeing the way my mom navigated the relationship, like I always tell my mom this, a lot of women would not stay. There's a lot of people who would never stay in a situation.
You tell
like
her that?
This. Yeah, I would tell her, I'm like, I don't know how you do it. And honestly, I remember I was telling my mom the other time, I was like, I honestly wish if I could go back in time, that you would have never met Dad.
But he would have never existed.
Exactly. And I would be like, I would be fine if you ended up marrying someone else and I would have never existed because you have struggled to live this life for the past 20 years. And it honestly hurt me to say that, but like the level of going through it that my mom has gone through, like when she comes on her episode, you really
But then please, guys, please write Mama Benji. You guys know how we bring it. So just write Mama Benji, Mama Benji, Mama Benji. She has to come.
She has to come on the episode. But like the amount that she had gone through, like it was really, really difficult. So at this point, I'm really just trying to like live.
And you can't tell. Like I'm thinking about Mama Benji. Like
she's the most loving person.
She's
ever.
so sweet.
Like she's so sweet. She's so like, joyful.
That's your life.
It's so insane. Like the way that she's navigated with herself.
Let me ask you something. What do children who have to give for parents need?
Help, support.
Physical or financial or emotional?
It's I think it goes across the board.
So like guys show up at your house to help you.
Do you know how like my family's discipleship group have been so loving?
Oh.
Like I remember those times where like I remember this last year was so difficult. So during Easter we had a really bad period where my dad went through a horrible psychosis and then he got really injured. So he got stabbed. He got into a scuffle with a few people. I don't know what was going on, but these people didn't understand that he was sick. And then he got really hurt. So he had gone to hospital. This is Easter weekend, by the way. So this is like in the middle of Easter.
That's where you're
I'm like,
you're in.
That's why in hospital. We're in hospital donating blood and things. It was a lot. We're there. Things are so bad. We had gone over our cover by like, I'm going to say either 3 or 400K or something like that. And then from there, because of the way he was mentally, we put him in trauma for another week. And at this point, we're paying out of pocket. So we were already so far over our cover. I remember there was like 3 days where me and Zach were like, imagine we can just fast.
Yeah.
We don't have to eat.
Yeah.
We'll be fine.
Let's seek the Lord.
It's okay. And our discipleship group came with food. Like they made like bakulis of food. All of them that lasted us for weeks. I remember like when they came to the house, I was just crying. I was like, oh my God, like this is like the nicest thing ever. But like to honestly have the level of support, not just like financially, but like physical presence is something that is so underrated. Like to have someone who is there. Like, not, you know, the people who are like, oh, I'll pray for you. I don't care about your prayers. You
I'm
can take your
hungry.
prayers that side. Me, I'm like, I need food.
I don't have
Like,
food.
things are bad.
Sina
Things are
bea,
fake.
sina nguo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like for the people who will show
Oh,
up, like
man.
when they'll show up on the
This is
in the
so
11th
good.
hour,
So good.
those are the people that you actually need. And that was like one of the biggest, like this year I've seen people step up and I've seen people show up.
You know what? My idea would be now that there's this thing, we give you guys space. You know how people
Yeah.
want to say that? Like, that's the most crazy
Me, I
thing
don't-
ever.
I
You're like,
don't
let's
need
give them
space.
space. They need to navigate this.
Because
and-
if you give
you
me,
don't need
yeah,
space.
if you give me space,
Okay.
then my mind is going to, I will lose my
Right,
mind.
right.
So literally, like, I remember this whole year has just been people showing up.
Right.
And it's so crazy. And the crazy thing is, we're still going through it.
Yeah.
But what I've realized is that when people actually give you intentional presence, then it makes the situation easier. I think what a lot of people think is peace is the changing of the situation. But like peace is, this situation is still the same, but the way that my perception and my outlook of it right now is completely different, and I can go to sleep at night.
This is so good, Benji.
Right?
That's so good.
Exactly. And I was like, one of the biggest things that I've learned this year is that things outside don't have to change. They really don't have to change. I remember someone told me that God is the advantage. Like the situation doesn't have to change. And I was thinking the other day, I was like, sometimes I wonder, it's like, how do some people not know God? Like, I'm like, how do you go through
That
this
was
situation?
my next question. Actually, this is so strange that you've gone there. This is the Holy Spirit. Actually, that's what my
No,
next
genuinely.
question. I was going to ask you, like, Benji, if you did not have the faith that you have
Oh
and
my
the God
God.
that you know, I don't think you'd even be sitting here anywhere. Like, let's talk about that. The fact that you have something.
Yeah.
You have that. It's like a ray of sunshine in a very gloomy time.
Dark
That the
place.
skies are grey, but there's
my
some
God.
yellow. You know that?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So, as I said, like I grew up in a religious home. I knew him, but I didn't know him. So COVID, all this time happened. I remember it was 2023. So I remember serving actively. I was serving for a year and a half at this point.
And that's when we actually met.
So that's the year.
And you were just there. He's even coming. He's like a kid, but it's like, oh, let's him join us for the present worship. I'm like, this is our baby.
I was like, I guess, yeah. So we're serving together. We're doing all these different
Right.
things. And at this point, I remember just like not knowing who he was. So I remember the first time that like I remember I was having those conversations with myself. Just being like, I don't know how I'm doing this. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why I'm living this life. And it was, I think it was the first gathering that we had at Mavuno. So I remember, I mean, nothing could have prepared me for that day. I remember the last, hey guys, Mom, forgive me. The last day before gathering, I was in someone's bedroom.
Hey, man of God.
Hey, I
Man of
was in
God.
someone's bedroom.
Women love this one. Let me tell you, because he's so sweet. He's
Guys,
just Benji.
let me tell you, guys, I have to be so honest. I have
Yeah,
to be so
thank you.
honest.
Thank you so much.
Because like over time, before I go back into the salvation story, like I had to be so honest with myself. But before I had to like get to the point where realizing that I needed help and I need to talk to people, I remember telling myself, this one, if I keep living this way and then I keep quiet about it, I will die and no one will know. I think I'd rather I hear your story than hear your obituary.
Ooh,
Genuinely.
that's so good.
I'd rather hear your
people are
story.
hearing this.
Like I would much rather want to hear what you're going through than have to hear it
Right.
when you're being lowered into the these are real things. And I had friends in my life that committed suicide.
Yeah.
And like I was like, damn, we were going through the same thing. I wish we talked. Like I wish this was the conversation that we had. So I remember there was this one time, like I was still living in the world badly. I remember this was high school. So I remember there's this one girl I was talking to at the time. And like I remember feeling like I don't know what was going on. But like at this point, I think the way that my perception of women changed, especially when it came to sex, was very different. And I remember I was with this girl and then things happened. And I remember I got home and I felt this weight in my chest. I was like, what? Like I felt like I was going to die. I'm on the Uber going back home. And I'm like, this one, I'm finished. Like if the Uber does not get me to the house and I start like, it's over.
Yeah.
So literally things happen, and in the middle of the night, I'm just there like, because I was still with her. I was like, I can't do this.
No.
I remember I went home, and I remember I got home, and we weren't even at our house. So this is when things were a bit weird, and we were staying at my aunt's house for a bit.
Yeah.
So things were a bit shaky with my mom and my dad. Like, it wasn't too crazy, but things that happened. I remember I get to my mom, and I tell my mom, we need to talk. Like, we need to talk. Today is that day. And I remember I spilled all my business. Everything.
To your mom?
To my mom.
So how do you get to that point of being able to tell your mom? Because there are parents right here whose kids are always in the bedroom. Like, they've never even had a conversation.
Exactly.
Hi.
Yeah.
Why did you feel safe to do that?
I remember telling myself, I was like, this one, if I don't... This is when I could fully begin to feel God telling me that, like, I need you to put this situation to shame before it puts you to shame.
Okay, so you can't shame the shameless.
Exactly. I was like, this one, if I stay, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, it's done. I remember I came to my mom. She was asleep because I woke her up.
Yeah.
I showed up in the middle of the night,
Yeah.
by the way. It's not even our house. It's our aunt's house. So I knock on her door and I'm like, Mom, we need to talk. So we go to the living room. And I remember we spoke. So at first she was like, did you use protection?
Yeah,
What's
of
going
course.
on? Like, she asked me all these different questions. Like, what's good? Like, do I know this person?
Yeah.
Like, all the questions. But from that point, like, I had to tell her. And then I had to tell her all the whys behind that why.
Yes.
Of, like, this is what happened when I was a kid. And this is what happened when this happened. And when you and Dad were going through this is what I was also
happened.
going through. And I remember we spoke the whole night.
I'm so glad you had
And
that opportunity.
I remember, like, genuinely having that, like, level of vulnerability. Like, right now, like, I don't know if you guys... I have, like, 360 on my phone. I don't know if you guys have, like, 360 on my phone. But, like, me and my mom, there's no way I can go that my mom won't know.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do that, like, I won't be able to, like, tell my... So at this point, I was like, if living vulnerably is the best thing that I can do, then that's the life that I want to start
love
living.
it so much.
So at this point, I get saved. So now back to the salvation story. So I get saved. So we have the gathering. Guys, the gathering is a full day event. I'm like, why am I in church from 8 a.m. until...
On a Saturday.
On a
also, even on a
Saturday.
weekday sometimes, yeah.
Plus the weekdays, I'm like,
Yeah.
why am I in church? I don't even know what's going on. I showed up. I thought I was just gonna like show. I thought it was gonna be like, morning session. They give you some few tips on how to live life. Blah blah blah. They give you pilau, then you go home.
Yeah.
It was not like that, guys.
Hey.
I was there the whole day.
Wait.
The whole day. I remember Pastor M was preaching. This man said my life. He was just telling my business.
Oh no.
The whole day. So I'm there. I remember there was a time he started speaking. I don't even know about what. And I was just sitting in my chair like this. I had a scarf. It was such a cold day that day. I wrapped myself. I was just crying for like 45 minutes because I remember I had to leave and come back. Second session after lunch, after tea break. Again, he started telling my business. I'm like, guys, this got to be a joke. It's like, cut the show. Where are the cameras? Like this, like, hey guys, come on, what's going on? Things were just like happening. And at this point, I could feel my heart. You know how it says like your heart of stone into heart of flesh.
Yes.
I could feel like someone was chiseling the stone off of, and I was just like this is insane. Like I could feel my heart beating for the first time.
Good.
So we finished the whole day. At this point, I didn't serve on the worship team that day. If I served on the worship team, wow, that stage would have just been puddles of water. I was just struggling that whole day. So at this point,
and if you see Benji looks cool. He's just bouncing with his crew. If Benji is normally the guy in the middle, then his squad is Uko on the side. So he's like,
I really just be like rocking with people. So at this point, mind you, I had been serving in church.
Yeah.
I had never known who he was.
Oh man.
And this day, like, he does the salvation call. And, like, I remember, like, shooting my hand. And then, like, I don't remember what happened. I just remember I was somewhere. And then all of a sudden, I was at the front.
Yeah.
I didn't remember, like, I felt like I was just lifted and placed there at the
Right.
altar. I mean, I'm crying. I don't know what's going on. This is Makamasi. I'm just a mess. And then we pray the prayer of salvation, and things just immediately change.
So good.
And I remember Pastor M, he does it now, but like up until that point, he hadn't been doing it. So it's this thing where he gives people a fatherly hug.
Yeah. You didn't know how much you needed it.
I didn't know how much I needed that hug, especially because when you deal with a father who is sick, emotionally distant, all those different things, my perception of God being my father was completely skewed and messed up, because I didn't see him being anything other than ATM,
Yeah.
provider. See, if I need this, I need to call you. And
That's
then,
it.
you know, hello, we need rent, we
Yeah.
need school fees.
Yeah.
I don't know how my mom was going to do this. Other than that, I didn't know that, like, oh my God, like, I can actually have a father
Yeah.
in heaven
Yeah.
that, like, knows me and loves
And
me.
loves you.
So I remember going through that, and, like, immediately things changed. Like, I wish I could say, like, unfortunately, I don't have, like, the vanilla story of, like, oh, I got saved and then the pornography stopped like
No,
that. It
no,
wasn't
no,
like
no.
that. Like, it didn't drop off of me like that.
Right.
Like, the drugs didn't stop. Like, let's just be for real, it didn't stop. But my heart was so different, and the way that I lived from that point, it never hit the same. Like, from that point, there was no drug that I hit. There was no party that I went to that's, you know, when you're at a place and you have this, like, out of body experience, and you can look at yourself and you're like, what am I doing here? Like, what the heck? Wait, like, that was me. And, like, ever since then, like, my relationship with him has only gotten stronger.
Yeah.
Like, has only gotten stronger.
I
Like,
love it.
and it's so crazy because I honestly think that I remember those times where I would be praying, and even to this day, there's times that I pray, and there's times that like, because for me, I get, like, dreams, right? Because I can actually audibly hear his voice, and I get dreams, and I'm able to, like, whatever. And there's times that he's shown me points that he literally protected me
Amen.
from things that, like, oh my God, like, now it
They would have killed
makes
you.
sense
Yeah.
why that happened
Right.
and why I had to go through this
Right.
specific situation and all that. And it was really insane because, like, now I can sit at a place and understand that even though that my life is so different now, and even though so many things have happened, like, I can't boast.
You can't boast.
I can't boast.
You can only boast in
Imagine ni God, man.
him. Yeah, ni God, for real.
It's just
ni God.
It's just him. Like, the life that I've lived up until this point has been so crazy and so hectic, and I've done so many wrong things. And, like, even just, like, outside of that, like, my life has just changed so much, but because I've known who he is and because I've seen his hand. But also, at that point, I really had to seek his presence. Like, I really had to, like, search for the father that he is, and, like, understand that, like, I know that things are bad in my family. I know that things are happening left, right, center. But I also needed to trust him completely.
Completely, yeah.
Completely. Because I honestly think there were so many things that, like, I didn't trust him about. So, backstory. Because my dad had lost his job so early, and the financial situation was so bad, in my head, I was like, we got to make this money.
Yes.
Like, it's time. Like, we have to find something. Right, so I started making content, doing all that different stuff, and I started making money from content. And then
But what's your YouTube? I want people from Family Dynamics to go say, I'm here from Family
I'm here
Dynamics.
for, I think we'll do the little collab
Yes,
thing.
yes, sure.
So literally, it's just Benji T.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
But, like, other than that, I started making music. Right, so music was always something that was, like, ingrained into me. So by the time I started making music, it was just kind of like it popped off very easily, which I was very scared about. Because before I started making music for myself, I was writing for a lot of different artists.
Oh, wow.
Right, so I was doing, like, I'd do the studio sessions and all that different stuff. But, like, I'd be making the music, and then the music just, like, did really well. And then at some point, I don't know, I just started performing, doing shows and all that time. And it was so crazy because I'd be doing shows and then I'd come home and things are bad at home. So I'm there like, hey, God, like...
I know many people will watch this and they'll be like, how do you do that?
Like, it's insane.
Benji, there's someone who's watching, and even as we wind down, I know we've gone way past an hour, but
Sorry, guys.
but no, there's no sorry.
Oh, yeah,
like, what could we have cut out? There's someone who's watching, and they really need that hope that you have, and that's a hope of glory. I had to give you this moment to just kind of lead them into that place, whatever you'd have to say into that camera.
Yeah.
Just lead them into a place where they can just have hope. Yep.
Okay. I don't know your story. I don't know what you've been through. I don't know what situations that you have been brought out of. But the biggest thing that I can tell you is that I have lived a life that was crazy and up and down, and there were so many things that I did wrong. And there were so many things that happened in my family, so many things that I didn't have control over. But the biggest thing that I know, that no matter how bad your situation is, God is good. And his steadfast love endures forever. Like, there's no one that can understand what he has been through the way that he does. Like, Jesus was a man acquainted with sorrows. Like, he died so that you can have life. And life only life doesn't get easier. I think that's the biggest thing. A lot of people will tell you that, like, oh, actually, like, life will always have its problems, and life will always have so many things that go on. But God is the advantage. Like, He is He's the X factor. Like, the way that you live your life will completely change because you won't have to have control over your life. Like, surrender is the best thing that I ever did. Like, it's the best choice that I ever made, because now things can happen and I know who I can rely on. And I know who I can count on, because no matter how big the situation is, I know how big my God is. Like, I know that if it's just me dealing with the situation, there's no way that I'd be able to do it. So right now, if you're going through any single thing, if your parent is sick, if you're sick, if something's happening in your family, if you've been abused, if you have been sexualized, if you have gone through the valley and you're still in the middle of the valley, I want you to know that if you are in heaven with Him, He is there. If you make your bed in hell,
He's there.
He's there.
Yeah.
And there's no situation, there's nothing from east to west, no angels or principalities that can separate you from the love of God.
Amen.
And I've seen it, and I can testify that, like,
So
my
good.
life has fully changed. And even though things may not be as different as I may want them to be, I have so much more peace and I have so much more understanding. And my life has been used to such a great degree to impact so many different people's lives because of who I've trusted in. Because I decided that my life was not my own, and none of this could have been done
So good.
with me. So I just want you to know that God loves you. And no matter what you are going through, no matter where you are at right now, you could be watching this in someone's bedroom.
Yeah.
You could be in the middle of it. You could be
You
doing
could
the
be
drug
doing
right
that.
now.
You could be. And then
And
this was
imagine-
suggested to you as a short.
And imagine, God still loves you. It doesn't matter
does.
where you are.
He does.
It doesn't matter what you're doing, where you've been, but He will always take away your shame, nail it to the cross, and He will wash away all of your sins and
So
all
good.
of the shame and every single thing, and you will live a life that is that is 1,000 times more fulfilling than the one that you want to live for yourself. Purpose is not the life that you want to live. It's the life that God prefers you to live.
Right.
And your life will instantly change, and you will be so much more fulfilled. And I don't want to get emotional, but He's such a good God.
He is.
No matter how bad your situation
He
is.
is.
Yeah, so I hope that you can just open up your hearts to Him and realize that Jesus died on the cross so that you can have a new life, so that you can have a relationship with Him, so that you don't have to do it by yourself. That's you don't have to do any of this by yourself. Like, just confess with your mouth and believe that Jesus died for your sins. It's the biggest thing. It's the best decision that you can make. It's the best decision that I made. It took me from being a liar, manipulator, addicted to pornography, all these different things, all these horrible things in my life. And
Child
it made
in the bedroom.
Exactly, I was in someone's bedroom.
Yeah.
And it didn't make me a perfect person, but it made me a progressing person.
So good.
It made me better than I was.
So good.
So, yeah.
Benji, thank you for sharing that. I don't want to add anything else to that. I think that is the best place to just end this conversation. I'm sure we might end up having a part 2 because
It's a
so let's ask for Mama Benji, Mama
true.
Benji, Mama Benji,
Mommy have
Mama
to show up
Benji.
on the podcast.
And if you know Zach, we'll get Mama Zach. And
It's true.
yeah.
And Zach.
And looking forward to just seeing what God will do with your life. Like you're still baby, and there's still so much ahead.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited that just somewhere there in the car window, somewhere I get to see it and just glorify God in heaven when I look at your life. Please check out his music. Subscribe to his channel. Instagram,
Telani.
Telani.
Telani on all music
Any
platforms.
brand, any brand. So the music is Telani. Telani is an artist. Please check it out. Share his music. Comment. Just help him make Jesus famous and make love famous. Because some of the things, yeah. Thank you so much, Benji.
Thank you.
This was
Thank
so
so
fulfilling
honored.
and wholesome. Did you guys enjoy it? Yeah.
you guys enjoyed it.
I have to ask the guys inside. Okay, whoop, whoop, whoop. So comment. Be respectful with your comments, by the way. Some of you like to be somehow.
bit,
Yeah. So take that bad energy, stay far away. That's what I Jesus song. Sawa. Thank you so much for watching. And I hope our regional marketing manager has seen potential of people who could be influencers for our product.
It's true.
She's somewhere here. Thank you very
true.
much. And goodbye.
And subscribe.
Bye.
Yes.
Bye. Oh, thank you so much
Yeah,
for saying
subscribe.
that. Thank
Make
you
sure
for saying
subscribe.
that.